Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Vallejo, California is a terrible amusement park. So, let me tell you why this park is such a dumpster fire and how they can fix their millions of problems. The park actually has a pretty good first impression. And you look at the skyline and you're like, "Oh, look at this pretty skyline. It's going to be such a pretty park." And then you go in and it's awful. The park layout basically starts with you either going left or right, because straight down it's just a kiddie area with a kiddie coaster that was closed when I went, and that's one of 3 coasters that were closed on my visit. And then you go into the DC Universe area, which I'm sorry, but it is just burning. I literally melted in there. It's just asphalt. There used to be a parking lot there before this area, and I mean, it still feels like a parking lot. There's no shade at all. It's just all asphalt. Honestly, even the other Six Flags parks, DC Universe areas are better. This one's just bad. So the first coaster you'll see here is the Flash Vertical Velocity. This was the second of the 3 coasters that were closed. This one's an Intamin Impulse coaster. It's an unreliable Intamin. I've heard it's always closed. I knew it was going to be closed far into when I was planning on going there, and it actually finally recently reopened, just as of recording this video. I think it reopened just a few weeks ago, finally, and it's been closed for a long time. But yeah, and it was really weird. I could see into the plaza where the ride entrance is, and all there was, you could see in the plaza they had the trains just sitting there. It was so weird. The next ride that you'll see in DC Universe is Batman the Ride. This one I have an interesting experience with. So it's an SNS free spin. And I've ridden some bad SNS free spins. I've ridden some that are alright. This one's alright. I went on it 2 times. Between the 2 times, I think it broke down 5 times while I was in line. I think the first one, the first time I went on it, it broke down for 10 minutes, and then one was 20, and then one was 30. It was just always breaking down, and that's one thing that you'll see a lot with this park. The rides just break down a lot, and I don't know why. So yeah, that wasn't fun. The lines are also insanely long because it feels like everyone in Northern California just went here. Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk wasn't that busy. CGA wasn't that busy. Why was this so busy? Everyone went here, and it was just, no. Ugh, I didn't like it. All the lines are so long. So, yeah, the next ride, at the back of it that you see is Superman. And this ride is actually pretty good. I like that doesn't have comfort collars. It's a clone of, Electric Eel, Tigris, Tempesto, if you've been on any of those. And it's pretty good. I have to say, I'm glad that it didn't have as long of a line. That was good. I'm kind of surprised, but yeah. The last 2 rides in the area are Wonder Woman, which is a pretty good pendulum ride. I always like those. It was also a very long line. And Joker. Joker is an RMC, and it's pretty good. I like it. I think I like it more than a lot of other people do. A lot of other people are it's a low-tier RMC. I like it more than a few other RMCs. I thought it was really cool. Now, what wasn't cool was the operations. So the line was about 3-4 hours. I ended up actually getting the really overpriced fast lane for this, and the fast lane was still 30-45 minutes, probably 30 minutes, and the normal line was through the entire queue that was set up, and it was just moving super slowly, no shade, so melting again. And one of the things that was just so bad was the dispatches. The dispatches, genuinely, I timed it. Every time, it was 7 minutes for a dispatch. If you don't know, it should be a good dispatch is between a minute and a half. Even that's kind of long. 7 minutes is ridiculously long, and they were on one train, so it would be 7 minutes into the ride. So it's 10 minutes between each person getting on, and then there's a full queue. So it's hours and hours long, no shade. Why? And on top of that, just a lot of the other rides here, it broke down a lot. It broke down all the time, and I swear, when I was getting my last ride for the day, I was like gonna get like a back row Joker night ride, and I was like finally like it broken down a few times. I finally got up to the station. I was next up, and some people started shaking the air gates, the gates that open when you board the ride, and they're like, the operator's like, please do not shake the air gates. And then of course all at once all the annoying teenagers just shook them, and of course the ride broke down. And at this point, I literally just had an actual, like, emotional breakdown, like, while in line. Like, I had been waiting, like, an hour. The ride had broken down multiple times. I was about to get on, and then all these teenagers are just shaking the air gates. And you know what? I think it's fair that I had an emotional breakdown. I feel like, because that was, like, just, I don't know. You see what I mean? It was not good. None of the guests were nice, either. Like, I've had good interactions at parks before with guests, and, like, this day just wasn't one of those. It was not. There were no good interactions with them. They're all rude. And after, like, finally, like, 30 minutes later, after, like, the maintenance came up to fix the gates, just because the teenagers were shaking them, it finally reopened. I got a pretty good back row night ride, but I don't even think it was worth the, like, PTSD I got from it. So that was everything on the left side of the park. So now let's go to the right side of the park. Back from the front entrance, if you take a right, you go into a nicer area. There's more shade. It's good. There's a kiddie coaster there. I literally bought Fastlane for this because I'm not even kidding. That line for that random kiddie coaster was longer than Superman. I don't know why. Everyone wanted to go on the kiddie coaster. I don't get it. And then Medusa, that's their floorless coaster. That was pretty good. I like it more than Rougarou, but I think Dominator is still better. And yeah, but the thing is that line. Oh my gosh, I think that had the longest line in the park. Slow dispatches, not as bad as Joker. Joker was like awful with those. And when I was in line, because I did Fastlane, of course, and like at parks, I usually don't get the like Fastlane, but like here I had to get it. Like it was like I would have probably gotten on like 3 rides instead of like 10 or whatever that I did. Like no. So while I was in this like 10-minute line, or not 10 minutes, it should have been 10 minutes, it broke down, like I would say after every 2 dispatches or so, it broke down all the time. And no, I don't like it. Me do not like it. It was not fun for having it to be always breaking down. So finally got in it. I'm like, okay. And then I went to Kong, which I haven't heard about it being unreliable before this, but I'm not kidding. I talked with some people that had it as their home park while I was in line for Medusa, and they were saying that they've been on every other coaster except for Kong. Like, what? Like, it's closed that much? I had no idea. I hadn't heard that it was unreliable before. And so, yeah, I waited out front of the entrance for like an hour because I didn't have anything else better to do. And I finally got on it. It's a Vekoma SLC. It was my first one. I haven't done any since. I don't really plan on doing any more. It wasn't bad since I kept my head forward, but it hurt my shoulders. So it's just they need a better ride there, definitely. And then, the rest of the park, there's Sidewinder Safari, which is a pretty fun spinning coaster, and Boomerang, which was the third coaster that was closed. This one, I already knew was going to be closed because it was closed like a few months before. And as far as I know, I think it's still closed. Like, this is like a year ago when I visited. Actually, like exactly a year ago, because I was in the beginning of September, and it's still the beginning of September, exactly a year ago when I went. And it's still closed, as far as I know. So, yeah, they need to have more rides open. Here's some of the things like they need to fix. They need to have more rides open. They need to work on the reliability of rides. They need to work on like the dispatches. They have stuff to work on. That's what I'm saying. And then the one other problem I had with the park was that it was, of course, extremely hot. Don't go to California parks in the summer. It's not only busy, but it's also hot. Like, it's kind of weird because like in Florida, it's like it's hot, but it's not busy. And here, it's hot and busy. So, like, why do we all go to parks in the summer? I always avoid the parks here in the summer. So those are my thoughts on Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Yeah, I don't like this park. Just if I had one recommendation, stay away at all costs.